Think about it. Your entire life, it's right there in your pocket. And every single app you download, that's another key you're handing out. So today, we're going to see just how strong those locks really are. Let's dive into the hidden world of app security.
Okay, so just to get a sense of the scale we're talking about, there are over 5 billion smartphones out there. I mean, that's just a massive number. And these aren't just phones anymore, right? They're basically digital extensions of us, holding everything from our most private chats to our bank account info.
Which of course leads to the big question, how safe are the apps we trust every single day? I mean, really, can we trust them? Is all that data we're handing over actually secure?
So, to get to the bottom of that, we first have to understand how an app is even built. The best way to think about it is like a house. You wouldn't check the locks without knowing the floor plan first, right?
Okay, so if you peek under the hood, almost every app has these 3 basic layers. You've got the presentation layer. That's everything you see and touch. You know, the buttons, the screens. Then there's the business logic layer, which is basically the brains of the whole operation. And finally, the data access layer. Think of this as the secure vault where all your important data is kept safe. Now, the foundation of this digital house is your phone's operating system. And the 2 big ones, iOS and Android, have totally different ideas about security. Apple's iOS is all about hardware. It has this thing called the Secure Enclave. It's a dedicated chip that literally builds a physical wall around your most sensitive info, like your Face ID. Android, on the other hand, is more focused on software. It uses the Linux kernel to create a digital sandbox for every app. It's like giving each app its own separate room so they can't mess with each other.
But here's the thing. Even the strongest house in the world is useless if you leave a window wide open. And in the app world, those unlocked windows are vulnerabilities in the code.
So what exactly are these unlocked windows? What do they look like? What are those little cracks that hackers are just dying to find?
Well, there's this group of cybersecurity pros called OWASP, and they have a kind of greatest hits list for these flaws. And if we stick with our house analogy, they're actually super easy to get. Insecure data storage? That's just leaving your jewelry out on the coffee table. Insecure communication is like shouting your bank password across the street. And insecure authentication? Well, that's putting a cheap, flimsy lock on your front door that anyone could pick.
But maybe the scariest vulnerability of all leads to something called a zero-click exploit. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's an attack that can take over your phone without you doing a single thing. You don't have to click a bad link, you don't have to download a weird file. It just happens. To you.
And no, this isn't just some movie plot. The infamous Pegasus spyware is a perfect, and honestly, a chilling example of this. The attackers sent to target a single malicious GIF through iMessage. That's it. A tiny, tiny flaw in how iMessage handled that picture was enough for the spyware to install itself, completely silently. And just like that, the attacker had full control. Camera, microphone, all your messages, everything.
So when this stuff goes wrong, the fallout isn't just some abstract technical problem. It's huge, and it hits millions of real people hard.
I mean, remember Cambridge Analytica? A simple little quiz app, looked totally harmless, was used to scrape the private Facebook data of 87 million people. It's the classic example of an app just taking advantage of the permissions it was given, but on an absolutely insane scale. Or look at the Uber breach in 2022. This one was different. It wasn't a fancy code exploit. It was about exploiting a person. An attacker bought an employee's password on the dark web and then just annoyed them. They spammed the employee with login approval requests over and over again. It's called MFA fatigue, until the employee got so fed up they just hit approve to make it stop. And boom, that one click handed over the keys to the entire kingdom.
And then there was T-Mobile in 2023. This time, the weak spot was something called an API. You can think of an API as the digital doorway that lets an app talk to a company's servers. Well, a flaw in that one single doorway was all it took for a hacker to stroll right in and grab the personal data of 37 million customers.
This just goes to show, the app on your phone is only half the story. An app is only as secure as the server it's talking to. You find one weak link in that chain connecting them, and the whole thing can just crumble. So what you have is this constant, never-ending tug of war. It's a cat-and-mouse game between the attackers who are always looking for new weaknesses and the defenders who are scrambling to patch them up before it's too late.
And that battle has really forced defenses to evolve. For the longest time, security was all about static defenses. Think of these as fixed rules, like a high wall. But they're brittle, and eventually attackers figure out how to climb them.
So now the smart money is on dynamic defenses. These are way more intelligent. They're actively watching for anything that looks weird in real time, and they can adapt and fight back on the fly.
But listen, this isn't just a problem for developers to solve. We all have a part to play in this, and there are some simple but super powerful things you can do. First, actually look at the app permissions before you just click accept. Does that puzzle game really need access to your microphone? Come on. Second, update everything, all the time. Those updates have crucial security patches. Third, use the security your phone gives you. Set up Face ID. Use a strong passcode. And finally, and this is probably the most important one, just be skeptical. If you get a weird login request or a strange message, trust your gut. If it feels off, it probably is.
So at the end of the day, it really boils down to this one huge question. Our entire lives are on our phones. So who is ultimately responsible for keeping all of that safe? Is it the person who built the app? Is it the platform like Apple or Google? Or is it you? That's the real question to ask yourself the next time you're about to tap install.